Ambassador Zixith had witnessed the rise and fall of 17 civilizations during his 4-century tenure with the Galactic Council, but he had never seen anything quite like what humanity had become. The holographic display before him showed the latest reports from the Outer Rim territories, and each data point painted the same terrifying picture. Humans had stopped being kind. For 300 years since first contact, humanity had been the galaxy's golden child. They were the species that rushed to disaster zones without thought of profit, the ones who shared their medical advances freely, who took in refugees from dying worlds, who negotiated peace treaties with the patience of saints. The Galactic Council had grown comfortable with humanity's predictable altruism, often relying on them to clean up the messes other species created. But something had changed 6 months ago. It started with the Kepler mining incident. The Vorthon Corporation had illegally strip-mined 3 human colony worlds while the colonists were in cryosleep during their winter hibernation cycles. When the humans woke to find their worlds barren and poisoned, they had done something unprecedented in their galactic history. They had asked for justice exactly once. The Galactic Council had dismissed their petition, as they always did when corporate interests were involved. The Vorthons were major contributors to the Council's economic stability, after all. They expected the humans to file another petition, maybe protest peacefully, perhaps organize some of their famous charity drives to help the displaced colonists. Instead, the humans had simply said, "We understand." Within 48 hours, every Vorthon mining operation in the galaxy had simultaneously suffered catastrophic system failures. Their automated mining ships turned on each other. Their orbital platforms crashed into the planets they were supposed to protect, and their entire communications network played nothing but human children's lullabies. The Vorthons lost 17 trillion credits in a single day. When the Vorthons demanded the Council take action against humanity, they were told there was no evidence of human involvement. The humans, when asked, simply shrugged and said, "How unfortunate. Perhaps they should have built better security systems." That should have been the end of it. But then the Zephyrian Trade Union tried to embargo human food shipments to force them to accept lower prices for their agricultural exports. The humans had politely declined to negotiate and instead had quietly released the genetic sequences for all their staple crops into the galactic public domain. Within a week, every species in the galaxy could grow human-quality food. The Zephyrian monopoly on interstellar agriculture collapsed overnight. Zixith adjusted his sensory organs as he reviewed the next incident. The crystalline hegemony had attempted to force humans to hand over their medical technology by threatening to block their ships from using established hyperspace lanes. The humans had said they would comply within 30 days. On day 29, every crystalline ship in space had found their navigation systems replaced with a simple message: "We hope you find your way home safely. Signed, your kind friends, humanity." The crystallines had been stranded in space for 3 weeks now. Their homeworld's defensive systems wouldn't recognize their own ships, and their quantum entanglement communications had been somehow tuned to only receive human entertainment broadcasts. But it was the latest incident that truly terrified the galactic community. The Apex Consortium, the galaxy's most powerful military-industrial complex, had decided to test humanity's new attitude by launching a police action against a human research station, intending to seize their quantum computing technology. The human response had been swift and educational. Every single Apex facility across the galaxy had been infiltrated simultaneously by what appeared to be human tourists. These tourists had politely asked for guided tours, complimented the facilities, taken pictures with the workers, and left small gifts as tokens of appreciation. Standard human behavior, really. It wasn't until 12 hours later that the Apex Consortium realized every single one of their military installations was now broadcasting their location, security codes, and operational plans on open frequencies. Worse, their weapons systems had been reprogrammed to target each other, and their AI networks had been replaced with something that only responded to requests with increasingly creative variations of "no." The humans, when contacted about this obvious act of cyber warfare, had expressed genuine confusion. They provided detailed records showing that all their tourists had followed proper protocols, stayed in designated areas, and even left positive reviews of their experiences. If the Apex Consortium's security was so poor that simple tourism could compromise it, perhaps they should reconsider their role as a military contractor. Zixith's communication device chimed with an incoming message from the council chairman. "Ambassador, we need to discuss the human situation. Their behavior is destabilizing the entire galactic order." "Indeed, Chairman," Zixith replied, his voice carrying the weight of his years. "Though I would argue they are not behaving any differently than they always have." "What do you mean? They've clearly weaponized their technology against us." Zixith pulled up humanity's first contact records, scanning through centuries of interactions. "Chairman, I've reviewed the data extensively. Humans have always had this capability. The only thing that has changed is their motivation to use it." There was a long pause. "Are you suggesting they were always this dangerous?" "No, Chairman. I'm suggesting they were always this powerful. We simply mistook their kindness for weakness." Zixith highlighted a section of the early contact reports. "Look at their technological advancement rate, their adaptability, their capacity for innovation under pressure. We saw them sharing their knowledge freely and assumed they were naive. We saw them helping other species and thought they were pushover. We forgot that a species doesn't become dominant on a death world by being harmless. Then what do you recommend?" Zixith looked at the latest report on his desk. 3 more major galactic corporations had been disrupted by what appeared to be completely legal human activities. Each incident more creative than the last, each carried out with the same polite efficiency that humans had always displayed. "I recommend," he said slowly, "that we start being the kind of galaxy that deserves humanity's kindness again." The holographic display flickered as another report came in. The Syndicate banking cluster's entire financial network had just been replaced with a simple message. "We're sorry you're having technical difficulties. Have you tried being nice to humans? Humanity's IT department." Zixith couldn't help but appreciate the irony. For 3 centuries, the galaxy had taken humanity's benevolence for granted. They had exploited their generosity, dismissed their concerns, and treated their kindness as weakness. Now they were learning what humans were like when they stopped being kind. They were learning that humans had never needed the galaxy's approval to be dangerous. They had simply chosen not to be.